someone who knows what they're doing on day one.
New Yorkers are tired of having to worry each and every hour of each and every day of whether they can afford to live here.
I'm feeling great. We have so much energy.
It's Election Day in New York City. Voters are deciding between a jam-packed field on the Democratic side for mayor, including those you just heard from. The Republican race has only one candidate. The primary uses the practice of ranked choice voting, where voters can select up to 5 candidates. Now, this all might seem confusing, so luckily, our Anthony Salvanto explains for us how exactly that works.
Here's how to watch ranked choice voting unfold in the Democratic primary for New York City mayor. Going in, the Democrats who vote get to choose not just their first choice candidate, but if they wish, up to 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, ranked in order of preference. Now, when the results come in Tuesday night, if one of those candidates has over 50%, they win. If they don't, that's where the rankings start to play out, because what will happen is the lowest candidate, the one with the fewest first choice votes, will get eliminated, but their voters may still have an impact because those voters' second choices get allocated then to the remaining candidates, and that process will repeat itself over and over, the lowest remaining candidate getting eliminated and their voters' second, third, and so on choices getting allocated to the remaining candidates until one of these candidates is the only one remaining with over 50%. Now, it could happen that somebody wins outright Tuesday night, or that ranking, that would play out over the course of a week, and we'd know the winner a week later. Either way, we'll follow it for you here at the CBS News Data Desk.
Joining me now for all of this, CBS News Director of Election Analytics, Kabir Khanna, and back again with me is CBS News Political Director Gómez. Kabir, it's great to see you. I know you've been covering some of the early vote here. Can you walk us through some of the trends you've been seeing so far?
That's right. So what we saw in the early voting period, Caitlin, is that each day of the early voting window, the turnout far surpassed what we saw 4 years ago in the 2021 mayoral primary. The line chart here shows that where we've ended up is that over 380,000 people cast their ballots early in person. That's double the total 4 years ago. Then when you add in all the ballots that have been arriving by mail, well over 400,000 New Yorkers cast their votes before today. Now, there's been a lot of interesting analysis about where these votes are coming from and who's voting early. The Gothamist put out a great analysis that showed that young voters, that is those under 45, make up about half of the early voting electorate, just under half. That's quite high for a primary. The other thing is that among the early voters, about a quarter are new to voting in primaries. So those signs point to an expanding electorate today. And if the Mamdani campaign is looking at these numbers, they're feeling pretty good. Their argument is that they are going to be able to expand the electorate and put new voters into play who don't typically participate in New York City primaries, Caitlin.
That's really interesting, Kabir, to get that kind of analysis on the ground there. But Finn, I mean, I love New York, lived in New York for a long time. New York is the greatest city in the world. I'm not biased on that front. But why should we care about this New York race for mayor? What does it tell us about the Democratic Party right now? I mean, you have the biggest city in the country,
Sure.
High concentration of Democrats in that city. Are we going to be able to learn anything about where the Democratic Party is going?
If you look at this race, it's really turned into a proxy race of the larger internal conflict, the debate that's happening within the Democratic Party right now, following the big defeat at the hands of Trump and the Republicans last year. So, I mean, you have Mamdani, who is really, a progressive Democratic socialist, and really represents that part of that wing of the party that says we need to fight more against Donald Trump, we need to be more anti-establishment, and focusing on some key issues. And then you compare that.
Super young.
Super young. And like what Kabir just said about trying to and boost like those younger voters also. You're seeing part of that play out. But also it'd be like a huge political upset if he won. Of course, he went from 1% polling 1% to now being this political dogfight against Cuomo, the defenestrated former governor of New York, who was ousted because after Andrew Cuomo, part of the big New York political dynasty. But he really represents that, the moderate wing of the party. He's been backed by Bill Clinton, by James Clyburn, by Mike Bloomberg, and he's been outspending Mamdani just in ads alone. Ads for Cuomo, $20 million. Mamdani at $6 million. That's an ad spending in this race. So you're looking at that. But if Cuomo wins, it's a huge political comeback, of course.
Absolutely.
But really, whoever wins here, you can argue that this can be, you can make an argument for each respective wing, right? The moderate or the progressives. And I think that's what you're seeing play out right now. And it could be a playbook on how to run in this Trump era and with the midterms coming up next year.
Right. A kind of a roadmap for Democrats, perhaps. So a lot of people will be taking a lot away from that. And as Kabir would note, even though we don't have time, we won't know the results of this race for quite some time.
Could be a while.
Kabir, thank you very much. Finn, thank you very much.